Archives of IT. archivesit.org.uk.
Larry Benjamin is a consultant ophthalmic surgeon. His father was Alan Benjamin OBE, a leading member of the UK computer industry from the 1960s, and he has a passion to exploit IT for surgery and administration in health. Larry explains here how incremental advances in technology, over 40 years, have been making diagnosis and treatment easier. He has worked with Orbis, the international charity working to make eye care available everywhere.
I remember the early EMI scanner, as it was known, at Northwick Heart Hospital. We had one when I was a houseman there in 1980. It had 2 pixels, I think a black one and a white one, and it was very crude indeed. But if you compare that with the spiral CT scanners of today that can do the same scan in a fraction of the time and give you fantastic detail with a fraction of the radiation, you just see that incremental change in technology all the time. And so I think that's where it's been useful and has actually helped medicine tremendously. Imaging systems in ophthalmology, we use a lot of imaging of the eye and other parts of the body, and they've changed dramatically. There's a thing called an OCT scanner, which is a machine which sends light into the eye and looks at the reflection of it off the retina. And that's transformed our management of ocular conditions in the last 15 years or so. So the traditional way to look at the back of the eye was to photograph it with a big camera. My other passion in life is photography, so I was always into these imaging systems for the eye. There's now a fabulous wide-angle retinal system. I worked on a very early possibility of photographing the back of the eye with a wide-angle lens. Very crude, but quite useful. And there's now a machine called Optos, which does it routinely and gives you a magnificent wide-angle view of the back of the whole eye. And it's routine in all departments now, pretty much. But the OCT scan has changed the way we look at the retina in cross-section. So you can actually tell that something is now swollen, whereas previously you were looking at it en face. You couldn't see whether it was swollen. So it's just transformed the way we manage some diseases. And indeed, Moorfields Eye Hospital in London's recently done a project with Google DeepMind in King's Cross, where they've got a double neural network to analyze scans of these OCT scans of the eye, millions of them from patients in Moorfields. And they've now got the system to the level where the machine is as capable as a consultant with 20 years experience in getting the diagnosis right first time. So for routine scanning of the back of the eye, it can now be pretty much done by machine. So those sort of things are coming along all the time. And I think although we haven't seen, it's not a big step change necessarily, it's just gradual evolution and application of technologies that's been so wonderful.
If you enjoyed this, find out more. Read and hear more stories from people of the industry at Archives of IT, archivesit.org.uk.